Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. Now, last week I shared with you, doing the unthinkable. Well, this week I want to kind of share a little bit about kind of how I got there. So there's this really beautiful quote: "Change your thoughts, change your life," and it is so true. I mentioned last week that, I never thought it was possible, or I was looking at trying to figure out how to get two homes, having one foot in Ontario and one foot in British Columbia. And the moment I changed my thoughts, just thought outside the box, just changing our thoughts about things can really help us change our life. And, it can even be I can't do this, to I can try. That's actually a beautiful one we love to tell our kids. You don't have to say you can do it. It's I can try. I don't know how, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I can try. Because sometimes I can't to I can seems it's too big of a gap. So it's getting to a closer I can try. So it's a beautiful thing. So it's just changing those little things from I can't to I can try. And it just changes everything. So it's looking at your thoughts. What thoughts, have been keeping you small, keeping you from living the life that you want, and start making those changes. Again, it doesn't have to go from I can't to I can. It can be a smaller stepping stone in there. And the moment you slowly start changing your thoughts, all of a sudden you'll see your life change too. And it can happen really quickly, or it can happen so slowly that all of a sudden you look back 5 years or even a year and you're like, oh, that's the life I was living a year ago or 5 years ago. You could just be it happened so slowly that you didn't even realize how much you've changed. But like I've said before, change is a constant thing in our life. So why not change our thoughts so we can change our life in a really positive way? Our thoughts come from our beliefs. So, and I've talked about that before too, where it's getting really clear on where your beliefs come from and things like that. But I had so many thoughts that would have held me back from creating the life we now live. All because my thoughts were, you can't do that. You can't pick up your kids and move across the country, this and that, and whatever it may be. And now I'll be completely open here. It definitely took me years to change a lot of these beliefs. Like I've said before, I think it was 7+ years to make this move happen. I had to change my thoughts. I had to change behaviors and patterns and beliefs to get to this point. Now, I'm not saying whatever's holding you back needs to take 7 years. But this one here for me took 7 years. I remember having a conversation with somebody where it's it was all from fear for me. It's well, what are my family going to think if we move? What's going to happen with my kids? They're not, and what if? And it was all fear-based. So it took me time to really get to know myself even on a deeper level. Again, self-love, it's a journey, baby steps. There's going to be places where you need to just love yourself a little bit more and get to know yourself a little bit more. And, just things fell in place to make this move happen. But it wasn't that I was staying the person that I was back then. I was constantly changing. In that time frame, I became a wife, a mom. Actually, no, I think 7+ years. I was a mom back then. This conversation happened when I was a mom, because I remember our baby girl she was a little baby when this conversation happened. Where I'm I can't, leave, what are my family going to think and things like that. So I had to change a lot of the way I saw myself, my life, my ability to do things. Because back then I was still much a people pleaser. When I became a mom, I was just starting my empowerment coaching training. Actually, I was probably about half a year into it or so. Because I started just before I found out I was pregnant. Anyway, I had to change a lot. So when I became a mom for the first time, I was the type of mom that if anybody visited, even my in-laws, even my parents, my house had to be clean. I had to make sure everything looked perfect, felt perfect and everything. And as I worked on healing parts of me and going through the coaching training and, all the process that it was to become a coach myself and then helping other people, I slowly transitioned and realized that who cares what people think of your house? And, obviously I like to keep a house clean when I can because it makes me feel good. But that's the only reason I clean now, is if it makes me feel good. Because I don't like clutter. It makes me feel cluttered, my thoughts and everything like that. The energy just feels off. So the moment I feel off, I start cleaning. However, it took me time to get there where it's like, wait a second. My happiness, my time is more important than a clean house. So again, I had to change that belief then thought about that. And it took some time for people around me to get used to the new me. And that's going to happen too. The more you change, people are going to be a little like, oh, but you're changing. And they could feel awkward about that change. And they might, it might not be so good. But as long as you know who you are and what makes, you want to change and things like that, that's what matters. So it's about changing your thoughts so you can change your life. And again, like, you're going to have friends come and go then if they're not in sync and things like that anymore. And then new, beautiful ones that are more on the same thinking level and, more that help you grow and strengthen, and all that will show up in your life in a beautiful, amazing, loving way. So it's just incredible what happens when you can change your thoughts. And again, just baby steps. So one of the things I'll share with you about changing your thoughts is, and this is a fun activity you can do. I don't always do these with my podcast where I'm like, hey, homework assignment or, but because this is pretty much how I'm showing up right now in the world, because of the move and things like that, I had to take some stuff off my to-do list and things. I wanted to give you a little bit of extra oomph, awesomeness in this podcast. So with your thoughts, you can list out the ones that you're saying or thinking often, and then you can keep a notebook around or a piece of paper or whatever it is, or your phone with a notes app, and just write down thoughts. And then you can think about, like, how can I change that around? Remember, you don't have to do it all at once, and this is, make it fun and just be gentle on yourself through this process as well, because it's all about loving you. So you could just keep a notebook and stuff, like I said, and you just jot down things. And it could be like, I'm lazy, or like a big one, like I'm not good enough. Like, that's a big, deep one. But it's like the lazy one, you can go a couple different ways. But one of them that's coming up is like, I'm doing the best I can where I am right now. Or it's like, I'm going to try my best to do what I can today. Or, every day I'm getting more energized, or every day I'm doing something to help me get my energy up. And it really depends on what your laziness is, really, what your energy is and stuff. The I'm not good enough is I'm getting better every day, or I'm working. I am amazing where I am right now, or I'm embracing where I am right now. It really depends. Like, remember, when you change your thought, you need to make sure that's believable. That's the big one. So I could put things in your mind or in your in your mouth for you, but like, you need to believe it. And so it can be like, so if it's like I said, that I can't to I can be too big of a leap. So it's just finding yourself in the middle and wherever it feels comfortable and feels like it's possible, because it's like, it could be like, I'm overweight, and it's like, or I'm like, whatever amount of weight it is over or whatever. And then you could be like, I'm, super thin or whatever it could be. It's like, I am getting healthier every day, or I am making better choices every day. Or I am showing up, I am showing up authentically every day, or I'm authentically being myself. Whatever it may be that you need to feel to move through things. So, it's great to completely go from a low number, like a 1, where it's like, oh, you feel like crap, right? and then you just want to get up to 10. But sometimes we need to take those baby steps in the middle so we can strengthen that love muscle, the confidence muscle, and even just our thoughts. Because like I've said in other podcasts, like in other episodes before, is some of these beliefs, some of these thoughts are literally from our childhood. So if they're super duper deep, it's like a tree, right? It's a really old tree and the roots are super deep. To take that tree down, not that I don't like taking, cutting trees down, but, those roots, to get that out, it would be like take forever not ever, but it would take some time to get out. So be gentle on yourself to just constantly change that thought. And anytime that you catch the old thought, be like, oh, this thought's no longer serving me. Like, and then you just replace it. It's like, oh, I'm glad I caught you, and then like you can start the new thought process instead. It's like, oh, hi, old thought. You're still there. And it's like, okay, well, let's move it along and start replacing you with a new one. So it's, it takes time. Like I said, it took me 7 years, 7+ probably. I'd really have to look back to when my husband and I actually first had the conversation of moving. But it took a long, long time to make this happen. And now, again, I don't want to like discourage you, because just because it took me 7 years to do something doesn't mean it will take you 7 years. It took me that time to become the person to make this incredible step in my life, because I had so many beliefs, so many thoughts that were keeping me stuck and keeping me from going after what I truly wanted. It stems back from me being a people pleaser. And I've shared that with you in a different episode. And, there was so much of my life where I was just about making others happy. And it took a long time to really get to know me, get to know what I wanted. When you're pretending to be something else and making everybody else happy around you, it can take some time to undo those things. So it took some time. I still fall into to that area sometimes where like I had to really move through some of that still. And because it runs deep. People pleasing can run really deep. And again, it's not about hurting other people, but it's about honoring who you are and what you want in life. Because the only person you have to at the end be like, all the decisions you get to live with are with you. No one else's thoughts about your life really truly matter at the end. It's what you feel you need to do with your life that really matters. Again, not about like doing things that are hurtful to other people. However, it's making sure that your needs, your awesomenesses, your things that you want to go out and do with this world happen because you want them to happen, not because somebody else. So it's really about changing your thoughts, your opinions about things, and it can just be a simple change in perspective even. So take some time, be with your thoughts, as dark as they may be, or sad or happy or exciting and beautiful, whatever they may be, and just be with them and see if that's what you want, how you want to live your life. Like, the thoughts we think is how we live our life. So sit with them. What are your thoughts? And is that what the life you want to create? Or better yet, if you look at the life you're living, if you're not enjoying it, look at your thoughts. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Here's to happy thoughts and changes. Lots of love.